Hey everybody, welcome to Pink Shade. It's Mary Payne. I've got Kimberly. It's Tuesday, so we're here to talk about 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After, and this is round 2 of trying to record this. So if you want to hear what happened in round 1, you're going to have to go on over to the $5 level of Pink Shade Prime. I'll put it there. It's 12 minutes of us trying to figure out what's wrong with the audio and then just generally being hilarious. We figured it out, guys. We figured it out.
I'm so glad. I really was starting to think that I was hearing, like I had tinnitus.
I was concerned that the voices in your head were really fucking with you.
Yeah, they do sometimes.
I took off my scrunchie. I can now apply it to my wrist because it wasn't my scrunchie making the noise, guys. Spoiler alert. God. Oh, my God. Okay. So here we are. We're going to talk about Happily Ever After. And as we said before, people aren't so happy with this show. They're not thrilled with what we're getting. I felt a little bit that way this week as well. Last week we were happy, but this week, no. Now we're not happy.
Well, sometimes it's fun to talk about people you hate, and then sometimes it's emotionally draining, and I get more angry. Because why are we watching these? Why did they choose these people? That is the real question. I just feel like they have the worst. Okay, so on Dateline, we always go him. Ladies, raise your standards. Why are you be your own Prince Charming? I feel like Matt Sharp and co have the worst taste in men and women and just couples. Like that friend of yours who dates douchebags all the time, and you feel like, I need to take over your relationship. I need to be a conservator, a la Britney, except that was horrible. But like, I need to, no, you can't marry anyone for the 5th time until I approve of them, because you're on marriage number 5. So I feel like one of us needs to step in and go, Matt, why are you picking these people? Who hurt you?
Yeah. If I could just get that interview with him like he promised me a year ago, then I would ask him where sometimes they find these people. Because I have a lot of questions about these people, about the Love After Lockup people. Soon I'll have questions about the inmate to roommate people because that's coming back. Yeah.
It's not even the where does he find them for the original show? It's this show is supposed to be like the best of the best, like the couples you want to follow. But
yes, and we want to see
the worst.
their success stories, and now how are they doing now that they are married and the K-1 visa process is ended. You're right.
It's the opposite. It's the couples we'd never want to see on our TV again, Nicole and Mahmoud. He's like, I'm going to put them on a whole nother season.
We definitely will never see them again after this because surely someone's going to end up dead.
Exactly.
I mean,
God forbid, but yeah.
No, I don't want that to happen. I think that they both should just choose happiness with other people is what I think. Yeah. 3 Blind Wives is our title here. And we think the 3 blind wives are Sophie, Nicole, Ashley? Blind problems, perhaps?
That's the only thing I can think of.
Again, if it was Seeking Sister Wife, we could.
Or it's us, the viewer, after we have blinded ourselves, so we don't have to watch these people anymore.
Yeah, that's an extreme choice, but yeah. I was going to tell you that, speaking of titles, we spoke of this earlier. So if you hear that over on Patreon, I'm sorry, you're going to hear it again. And maybe there'll be a ringing in your ears when you hear it over on Patreon. We'll see.
I still hear the noise a little bit, but it's way better.
You've got to be kidding.
No, I'm not kidding.
What could it possibly be? We've checked all our settings here.
I think your headphones like jingling. Are they new, or have you always worn those?
I've had these for a long time.
Then I don't know what it is.
I kind of hate them because they don't work very well. But yeah, I don't.
Maybe they're my headphones. Maybe something is broken inside my headphones.
That I will kill you if that's the case.
Or my brain.
I'll kill you if that's the case because I think we just did a lot of. Okay, I mean, are you really still hearing it like you were?
No, way, way less.
Oh God. Okay. All right. Well, bear with us, guys. I hope this is going to be fine. I recorded MILF Manor earlier, and it was fine. I mean, I
Okay.
guess other than the fact I was talking about MILF Manor. Um, I was telling you that started watching season 2 of The Jinx. It is excellent, excellent. And if you
Yeah,
ever want anybody to come over on your Patreon to cover it with you, I'm your girl.
I would love that. Yeah.
I'm so obsessed with it.
Oh, I would. Yeah, let's do it.
Because you do a lot of him, that guy, him, and to which I
Mhm.
say we're learning about Robert Durst this season. He had hoes in all the area codes.
That's insane.
His eyeballs were pitch black.
You know what I always called him when we did our Dateline on him? A goblin ghost or something. What did I go? A pedophile goblin.
Oh, I don't think he's a pedophile.
No, he just looks like one.
Oh, okay. Well, way to typecast him, Kimberly. Way to make him feel bad about his pitch black eyeballs. God, it's wild. It's season 1. I mean, episode 1, episode 2 I have got me. Have got me. I can't wait. If maybe episode 3 comes out on Sunday, they usually drop good things on Sundays on HBO. But I've watched both episodes and I was mouth open.
Okay, I can't wait.
But I was telling you the opening segment of it, the title card with the music, like Sopranos, or a show that you could think of as like Big Love. Do you remember
Mm,
that opening title?
mhm.
Dun, 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 dun. Without you, it's a Beach Boys song. God only knows.
Got it. Yeah, what I
Yeah.
do without her. Mhm.
Ozark does a thing where they put an O and they give you 4 symbols. So it'll be like a needle, a cow, a boat, and a dollar bill. And you're like, somebody's going to die with a cow falling on them by a heroin overdose while they're trying to get some money. What does it
It's
mean?
it's like Ashley reading the tarot cards.
You're right. It's exactly what it's like.
Like this god of lamb is upside down, and that means Manuel is hangry.
Yes. This trip is not going to go well. There's going to be a lot of strife. The cards say so.
No doy, because it's them.
Yeah, Amy Archer, when she did it with me when you were out with your back, Amy Archer goes, gosh, if there's only a way they could prevent that. I want to ask you another bunky question, which is you recorded with Keisha for her podcast, The Libra Lounge with Keisha. I want to promote that appearance.
So fun. We just bitched about Mama June the whole time.
All right, I love it.
It was so fun. And then I told Katie about it, and she got really mad because apparently she is a connoisseur of Mama June, and I didn't even know.
Well, see, when you watch Mama June, you hide it and don't tell people that you're friends with
Exactly. So
because it's
she had
embarrassing.
watched. Yeah. And so she had gone down the rabbit hole like last year. So she's been watching. I had no idea.
Oh my gosh. Well, tell Keisha to wait a couple of weeks and have her on, and it'll
Hmm.
be trifecta.
Yeah.
But don't replace me in the throuple, please.
No, never.
I don't want to be replaced.
No.
Today, Deanna Chang and I were trying to figure out about a couple of weeks from now when we're recording about MILF Manor, and she's, there's a flight, she's trying to figure out when she could record. I said, well, what if we, you could just skip it that week because Matt Maher will be dying to come on and talk about it. And she goes, I don't like that. I don't think that that person needs to step in my stead. I don't want to be replaced. I don't want some. I was like, okay, it's just Matt. He's not going to take over your job. She was like, I don't like it.
I said the same thing. I said, I bet he's going to be so much funnier than me. He's totally going to take over. And then Amy Archer sounds just like me, and she's funny. So she's going to single white female me, and then I'm going to be totally out of a job.
You guys, no. It's so funny though.
Podcasters are deeply insecure.
Yes, that's why we're podcasters because yeah. But it's so funny. It's like, guys, stop fighting over me. Stop. No, it was funny though. Deanna's like, you tell that thirsty hoe to back up. And I said, well, Matt would be thrilled that you called him a thirsty hoe, so I'll let him know. So let's get into these people. Okay, you and I have already been talking for almost 30 minutes, and that's because we had a snafu at the beginning. And if it's still there, I'm sorry, and I don't know what to do about it. Like, really, I don't.
Really sounds so much better.
Okay, well, that's some quality podcasting for you. It sounds so much better than it did earlier when it sounded like you were jingling some bracelets into the microphone. Wow. Okay. Well, let's get started on our recap. Three Blind Wives, Season 8, Episode 8, 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After. So let's start with Patrick and Thais and Hot Carlos, the dad.
Robo Patrick has brought Thais a cake for her birthday. It feels like the Terminator walks in every time he walks in with that leg.
Is that one leg? Yeah.
Yeah, he brought her a cake for her birthday and an orchid. Very sweet.
Mm-hmm.
She's 27.
Mm-hmm.
She's just a few years younger than us.
Mm-hmm.
She wants to cheers with their spoonfuls of cake because why are there spoonfuls? I don't know. Are there no forks in the apartment? I don't know.
For what
Thanks,
they're paying,
Jose.
they should have forks.
Has Jose taken away the forks until they give him the rent increase? I dislike just vehemently when people over cheers on TV. It drives me insane. It's
Okay.
irrationally pisses me off. So then they joke about cake, and Patrick says, "I'm chubby. It's obvious I have more cake than you." And I thought, your size beautiful, Patrick. Don't put yourself down.
I don't think he's chubby. I don't like him saying that about himself.
No, at least he's not doing steroids anymore and getting himself kicked off the Olympic team or whatever happened.
Exactly. Amen.
Yeah. So they go to see the dad. Did you notice that the tiny Pomeranian Theodore is wearing a service dog vest? That is not a service dog.
No, it's not.
They bought a vest online so they could take him anywhere, not have to pay extra, get him. He didn't have to be in a carrier on the plane. I don't know, but
they have him in a carrier on wheels at the park.
Oh yeah, I don't know what they're doing.
That dog doesn't even weigh 3 pounds.
No, don't do that. You're ruining it for the actual service dogs out there.
But I think to take a dog on an airplane, you can't just slap a vest on them. You have to get a certificate and prove that it's, I don't know, like an emotional support animal.
People on Reddit were saying it depends on the airline. I don't know.
All I know is any old animal on
maybe Theodore is trained to sniff for steroids in his owner. That's the only thing I could think of.
I told you about that time when we were coming back from Europe, and they had those dogs walking all around the international arrivals, and they were beagles.
Aww.
And they were sniffing for meats and plants. And sniffed out a sandwich in somebody's bag so fast you couldn't believe it.
Good for them.
Yeah, a lady had to take her sandwich out of her bag that I guess she'd brought over from England.
Gross.
Yeah, gross.
It wasn't refrigerated? That's nasty.
I don't know.
So Thais wants to drive, but she's getting overwhelmed just getting out of the apartment parking garage. He's like, you have to turn the wheel. And she goes, what is the wheel? This? And it's like her English just went out the window because she is terrified to drive. What else would you have to turn? So he takes over. Thank God, because they have the baby in the car. So they are going to see the dad. He's freaking out. He's so nervous to see the dad. I feel like he could have worn sleeves as a sign of respect, but that's not his style. He's wearing instead the tightest tank top. It's cutting off his man boob muscles. Has he ever bounced them? You know, when guys do that? No, he's never done that on this show, has he? That feels like something he would do, though.
But you know who does do it? We've got a child of 19 doing it over on Love in Paradise.
Yes.
And we've got a elder lady on MILF Manor that does it nonstop. That's her trick from when she used to be a stripper, and she wants to show it to you. So she just, like it's constant. We've seen it. We don't need to see it again.
Wow. Does that get you more money in the club?
Maybe.
I don't know. So they go to the park to meet her dad, and Hot Daddy walks up, and he's instantly crying after seeing Thais after 2 years and finally meeting the baby. Thais is crying. He's smelling the baby.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, doesn't she look like me? Do you see?
Yeah.
Cute baby, right?
That's not what people want to hear immediately. They want to hear immediately the baby looks just like you. Yeah, nobody wants to hear. He should not have said that. He should have said, don't you think the baby looks just like Thais? You know?
Yes, your beautiful daughter. Yes.
Yeah.
But the dad is barely looking at Patrick. And Patrick says, now I understand how much you must have missed Thais because now I have a daughter. which is
Mm.
such a man thing to say.
It is. It is. Yeah.
I get it why it's horrible how women are treated in this world because I have a mom. Otherwise, I wouldn't get it. So the dad says, "Yeah, you didn't realize back when you kidnapped her."
I mean, that's a little much.
Calm down.
And he is speaking his native language, so he doesn't misspeak because it was a language barrier.
No. So he says, "I thought you would be man enough to ask for permission to marry her."
Mm-hmm.
And Patrick like bows his head in shame, and Thais says nothing to defend her husband.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, "A father's dream is to walk your daughter down the aisle." So, like, is this worth holding a grudge for 2 years?
They're married and have a baby.
Get over it, I'd say.
Yeah, I agree.
And could Thais have told him, "This is important to my dad. He will hate you forever"? No, because she didn't ever tell the dad that they were getting married in the first place when she was going to LA. She did like a Annalie type thing, like didn't withheld a lot of information. And Patrick fully throws Thais under the bus on this one. You know, she didn't tell me. I didn't know that you didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so she did wrong too, which is a totally different issue. I didn't ask for permission, but also she never told you that we were getting married.
It's
After
her fault. It's her fault 100%. It's her fault 100%.
And she's like agreeing. She is nodding. And Patrick says, "And when she told me that you didn't know, I told her, you tell him or I will." Like I was very respectful in that moment. So the dad is like, "I'm still waiting for an apology. And then I need an apology from Thais." And then he tells us that he was so hurt and upset that he lost a lot of weight and he was very depressed. And I'm thinking, you are too codependent on your daughter. I feel like their relationship is almost too close. And I felt that last season with them too. Even though I still think he's super hot.
What do we know about a mother or any siblings in this family?
I thought there was an aunt or something, but I can't remember. Is she the only child? I don't know. I don't remember.
We'll have to find out. We'll have to find out at the party.
Yeah. But it seems he's just very extreme in these feelings. And so, but Thais goes, "I apologize. The reason I didn't tell you we were getting married is because I wasn't sure we were getting married, even though we were engaged. And I was there on the fiance visa. I wasn't sure if I would like him or his brother or life in America. So I wasn't going to tell you until I was sure that we were actually getting married."
She was there on a K-1 visa.
Yeah. You were getting married.
Mm-hmm.
So
getting married. Yeah.
Hot dad says, "Well, Patrick, you need to ask me for her hand in marriage, even though you're already married and I'm holding your child right now." He says, "You need to prove to me that you love her so I can stop worrying." And Patrick says, I'm not going to ask him right in this moment because that would be inauthentic. It's like if you complain to your boyfriend that he doesn't get you flowers and then he gets you flowers. It doesn't mean anything. You told him to do it.
Right, you never say, "I look pretty." Okay, you look pretty. Just forget it.
Thanks.
Forget it. Yeah.
So Patrick says, "I want your respect and I am going to show you that I love her and that she has a good life with me. So give me a few days on this trip to prove it to you." And the dad is just, I'm very torn. There's a cultural difference here because the American in me wants to go, "She's not your property. You don't have to give permission. You don't have to give her away." None of that. And he's the father of your grandchild. Give him some respect too. Mm-hmm. You've given him no respect. And I don't know. It just feels like a power trip and like a control, like a dick swinging contest. Like,
yes,
why don't you just pee all around your daughter and then we can move on? Like marking your territory. Like, are you just mad this guy took away your daughter?
Right. It is a cultural thing. And because she knew that and knew it would be very important for Patrick to have a conversation with her dad beforehand. And she
prevented this.
She could have prevented all of it. So it's just like Annalie and Clayton. It's the same thing. You're putting this dude in a terrible position. So now the dad hates him and he would have done the right thing. He would have talked to her, the dad, in advance. And he would have probably liked for the dad to be at the wedding and all that, you know?
Yeah. But I also think life is too short to hold this grudge. You have
Oh
a
yeah,
beautiful grandchild out of it. Your daughter's happy.
he's got to
Move
let
on.
it go. Could
Yeah.
just be for TV though.
Yeah.
Let's move on to speaking of just for TV, Jasmine and Gino. I felt this whole opening scene was so fake and
Yeah.
so stupid.
Yeah.
We see Gino running a bath. She is standing in her bra and underwear. They have blurred out her behind. She's to the side and they
Yeah.
blurred her bottom. Yeah. I don't know what's happening back there, but they blurred it.
What they choose to blur on Naked and Afraid, I sometimes find confusing. I'm like,
Mhm.
why is that blur so vertical? Like, what is happening? It almost draws more attention to it, the blur.
On this week on MILF Manor, that's over on the $10 level of Pink Shade
Mhm.
Prime, everybody. Um, the guys, the dads and the sons dress up in costumes and do strip teases for the ladies. And the older guys have costumes that it's like rods, drain and plumbing. And it literally says on the back, it's everything is an innuendo, right? Like on
Yeah.
the front, it says insertion specialist.
Oh my God.
And then on the back, or it says rods, pipe and drain,
Yeah.
cleaning or something. Underneath it, it says, your hole is our goal.
Okay, I get it.
They blurred out the word hole.
What?
But the rest of it was fine. Yeah.
They
Yeah.
subjected us to watching a mom feel up her topless son blindfolded last season.
Mm-hmm.
But the word hole is too much.
Yeah, it's getting to be a lot on these shows. Next week, they're going to have like tantric sexual yoga, but it's going to be 2 guys and 1 girl. So it'll be dad, son, and a MILF in the middle.
What?
Yes. Yep. Can't make it up. Can't make it up. So, and God willing, Godspeed to the people that did make it up, because there's going to be a place in hell for them. Okay. Jasmine and Gino. So Gino's running a bath and she's trying to figure out what to wear to see the gators. She has a gator that she loves in Panama. His name is Sneaky. And he would come out and say hi to her when she would go walking. Listen, as an alligator expert that I am,
Yeah.
because I go to Bald Head Island and I respect the gators, I go and look for them 3 times a day. I do a gator run 3 times a day to find them. I know all about them. You don't want to have a name for them. You don't want to think they're cute.
That's
They
when
are
mistakes are made.
they are gators. They will jump out of the water and take down a deer.
Yeah, they're fast.
They're fast. They jump very high. And I really wasn't a fan of this airboat with no walls up on the side. Their feet were right there.
I want to know the policies of this airboat tour. There's some of these companies are very shady. And I don't like it.
That wasn't safe.
The animal rights expert in me is like,
the alligator can, from a swimming position, jump straight up 6 feet. They don't need to push off. They can just, from a floating position, jump up 6 feet.
she has a lot of foreign bodies in her body.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder if that would help her.
No.
Like, what if they grabbed onto a butt implant? Maybe it would protect her like a bulletproof vest.
She would die. So he says, yeah, I'm trying to get all sexy and romantic with Jasmine. So I'm going to fill up this bathtub here. I put a balm in there and some muscle relaxers. And I'm going to, he put in like that muscle soak stuff in there.
She's going to get an infection down there. He's putting way too much in that tub.
There's a lot of things he was putting in that tub. And he goes, yeah, we've got the house all to ourselves here. And so this is what we're going to do. So she's in the other room and she's like, I don't know what to wear to see the gator. So I'm thinking like I have to wear pink, but then if I wear the green, it's like showing them that I respect them. And he walks in the room and goes, who are you talking to? And she goes, I'm talking to you, you fucking bitch.
I loved it.
I loved it too. It was very funny because obviously this whole thing is set up and production knows it's all set up. And obviously she is talking to the camera. So when he says, who are you talking to? Like she was, like there was no cameras there recording her. That was funny.
I thought it was funny. It made it, I fell for it. I was like, oh, they're just like a regular couple.
So she's explaining about her pink outfit is Miami vibes, but the other one is more gator vibes. And then she tells us she doesn't like crocodiles because they're more aggressive. Alligators are her favorite animal. They're very sweet. And she misses Sneaky, the gator that she loved in Panama. Um, so she decides on the pink outfit, which is more Miami, less gator. And then she says, I wonder if the alligator is triggered by the color pink. And he goes, they're going to eat you so fast, it won't matter. Which was the right answer.
Yeah.
Um,
Also, do
so
alligators see color?
I'm pretty sure all animals are colorblind, yes?
Not all, I don't think.
Look, I just made that up, but it sounded believable.
It really did. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. So he takes her and he goes, let me show you the bath that I made, Jasmine. Then he puts his hairy white feet up on the edge of that bathtub and starts wiggling his toes at her. And he goes, hey, let's get sexy in the bathtub before we go. And she goes, oh my God, Gino, you are so sexy. And thank you for the foot dance. But we have to go or we will miss the gators. I'll give you a quickie later. I'll fuck you in the bathtub later. Let's go.
She goes, I'll pee on you later.
Just like, and he says,
It's like,
what?
Gino, I did all that toe stuff because that was our first episode in this season and I needed to make people really have something to talk about. But we don't need that plot line this week. So I am not going to suck on your toes.
Toe sucking is not really a thing. Stop trying to make toes happen. So,
It is the thing.
no, I think her peeing on him is the thing.
I don't think any of them are the actual thing. I think it's just for TV. I think she knows it's good TV.
I think so.
Or
too.
maybe they really just have a lot of kinks and then Godspeed. God bless.
There's a lid for every pot, Kimberly.
I know.
So he says, what's going on? Why are you playing so hard to get? And of course, this is such a 180 from what they normally do, which is her begging and crying for sex
Mm-hmm.
and him refusing to give it to her. So that's why this is so fake and scripted. So then she says, I'm actually avoiding sex with Gino because I don't want to have a baby. So obviously this is all a setup and I don't like it. I don't like it to be so obvious.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of it's obvious, but this is so blatantly obvious. So they're walking along the beach and Gino's like, I love it. So warm. I love it here. So I was like, wow, maybe Kimberly's prediction is true and maybe they will move to Florida.
I mean,
she's happy there.
She is. She's so happy. I feel like she might leave him for like another person.
So they're walking on the beach and she's collecting seashells and saying she loves seashells. And he goes, oh, when I was little, I collected insects, you know? So I'd get like the spiders and put them in a jar together, or I'd get like the wasps and put them in a jar together. And then I'd watch them fight it out. And she goes, what? And he goes, yeah, it's fun. She goes, that's what serial killers do. That's freaking insane, Gino. That's weird. It's like, she's right.
A, it's super rich that she's calling someone else insane. But B, I agree with her. That is very disturbing.
Yeah, she was like, it's not like you're collecting them like it was cute. You got them in a cage and had them fight?
To the death?
That's
Thunderdome? That's horrible. I also like rescue ants and take them outside though. So I'm not the right person to ask.
Well, you know, I'm watching Ozark and I forgot about in the first season, there is a storyline about the son and thinking that maybe he's killing animals. And they say, you know, that's what serial killers do.
Yeah. I think it applies to insects too. Like those kids that burn anthills and stuff. No, I don't like
or
that.
like pull the wings off of flies.
Oh no, I do not like
that. Oh God, people. So now they meet Jesse, the boat captain, and they're talking to him, and there's like a taxidermied head of an alligator. And she goes, can I kiss it? Can I kiss the alligator head? He goes, I don't care. Are you ready to go? And she goes, I love them. They're so friendly. And the guy says, no, alligators are not friendly. And he says,
don't be lured into a false sense of security.
He says, you can't think that they're friendly or you might lose a hand. And then Jasmine goes to Gino, well, you should protect me. And he goes, you should just use your voice to scare them. And she goes, what do you mean? My voice is powerful and feminine. And he jumps up and he was like, okay, yeah. Yeah.
Did he have some food stuck in his teeth? Did anyone else see that?
Ew, on the boat or in that talking head?
No, when they're talking to the captain.
Oh, probably. Talking head, they wouldn't do that to him. But if they're talking to the captain, they're not going to fix that for him. They're going
Yeah.
to let him look like an idiot. Um, just like they're doing with Danielle of the Davis family with her wayward eyelash that's coming up.
That is
Just
so
like
sad.
this. Yeah. So they go out on this airboat. And again, no barriers on the side. Just your foot and the water is right there. Like you couldn't even jump to the middle of that seat and be safe. That gator could get you.
Mm-mm.
So they see, oh, here's a gator. It's a male. It's about 10 feet long. And Jasmine's like, oh my God, Gino, this is the best birthday I've ever had. And then they stop to have a serious conversation while Jesse, the boat captain, listens.
That's my favorite part of the show.
And she says, my friend Leandro signed me up for a beauty pageant workshop. Because of my depression, I've got the alopecia, which is getting worse, and I just feel so unhappy and not sexy. And that's what he suggested that I do. He has this woman that runs the workshop that could make me feel empowered. And he says, I'd love to see you in a beauty pageant. I think that's great. You're smart and beautiful. You could win. And she goes, well, it's tomorrow in Fort Lauderdale. He's like, what, the beauty pageant? And she goes, no, the workshop. And he goes, okay, great. I'll take you. That's not far. And she's like, wow, I can't believe Gino is on board. He's being so supportive. I kept waiting for her then to say it's $500.
Right.
But she never says how much it costs.
Yeah.
And he says, this depression that she's been having has had a big impact on both of us. And it has an impact on our sex life because we want to have a baby. Now, this is where I also think it's fake, because I think if he was very concerned about her actually suffering for depression, I don't think he'd be like, yeah, I'm worried about her sex life. I think he'd be more worried about getting her some mental health help.
You are giving him way too much credit.
That's true. But
have you met this man?
Well, that's a great point. Okay. I'm sorry. I don't know what I was saying. I was wrong. You're right. You're right. I totally just backtrack what I said. So, then listen, here's what I thought when he first said about the beauty pageant. I go, what if it's Josh? What if it's Josh who is running the beauty pageant?
That would be hilarious.
But then I was like, I think Josh actually just does modeling contests.
Yeah.
But I was like, that would be the crossover we need. Y'all, nothing gives me more confidence than a new outfit. I love when I put on a new outfit, especially in the summertime and you're going out and you're looking cute. And then you're like, I have underboob sweat, and that's really not cute. So that's why I want to tell you guys about Lumi deodorant. It is a whole body deodorant. It is powered by mandelic acid to deliver outrageous 72-hour odor control everywhere from your pits to your feet, and yes, even your privates. In fact, it was patients concerned about private part odor that originally inspired the OBGYN who invented Lumi. Flash forward 6 years, and they've earned over 300,000 five-star reviews. You guys, my husband has even heard of Lumi. When the box came, he's like, hey, I've heard of that. This is like an all-over body deodorant. I mean, really. So it is seriously safe to use everywhere. Seriously, you could put it, we call it in the summer between your thighs. We call it the chafe, because you get the chafe between your legs. So Lumi, you can use it on your chafe, your underboobs, your thigh folds, your belly buttons, your booty crack, and your feet, and the other downstairs area. Again, it was created by an OBGYN, so it is totally safe to use all over. It can block odor for up to 72 hours. It is formulated with that acid that'll stop the odor before it starts. It's more like a pre-odorant. It's baking soda free, paraben free, pH balanced for safe use below the belt. Some of our sister wives are always looking for things that are pH balanced, so we should let them know about that. They always need that pH balance for that sister wife coming in. You can choose from a variety of fresh scents. I like the toasted coconut because I like everything that's coconut. Now, Lumi also has a starter pack that's perfect for the new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, a cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice. You could get like a little mini body wash, deodorant wipes. I got the deodorant wipes, and I'll be taking those with me on my trip to Mississippi, and you get free shipping. So As a special offer for the listeners, new customers get 15% off all Lumi products with our exclusive code, which is Pink Shade. And if you combine the 15% off with the already discounted starter pack, that equals over 40% off their starter pack, y'all. Okay? So you're going to go to lumideodorant.com and insert code Pink Shade for 15% off your first purchase. Okay, lumideodorant.com. That's 15% off. And the code is Pink Shade. LUMEDEODORANTE.com and use the code Pink Shade. Okay, let's move on.
Natalie and Jasmine duking it out for a mediocre man. That could be like the next celebrity death match where they wrestle. And your prize is this just totally average white guy.
Here's 3 to pick from. It's Gino, it's Josh.
Yeah.
It's Big Mike.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to Ashley and Manuel.
Yes. I do feel badly how sad she seems to be this season. But
agree.
I do feel like a lot of this is like, yes, she's very sad about her kids, but like she has also put so much stock in her physical looks her whole life and spent so much money on it. It's like that won't fix you. You got to fix it inside, girl. Get some therapy or a purpose. Volunteer at a children's hospital or something.
Mm-hmm.
Put it all in perspective.
These are all good points.
Thank you.
She's not doing any of that.
She thinks her whole worth is her outsides, and I don't think that's true. She's smart, funny. She likes alligators.
Mm-hmm. She likes her own children.
Mm-hmm.
She's given love to a very unattractive man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She took one for the team.
She loves her mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
She's raising her sister.
Allegedly.
/ daughter.
Let's move on, please, before we get ourselves in trouble. Let's move on to Ashley and Manuel.
Oh, God. That is so stressful. Okay, so they're at that like bar with the alien psychic lady, and they are just taking turns storming away from the relationship. And she's like, it's my turn now. And so she storms off and she says to the bartender, sorry for blowing up your bar. And then she starts talking to this bar patron. She's like, I'm sorry. I know we're a lot of energy. We didn't mean to take over the bar and be crazies. It's like, you don't know how to turn your crazy off.
Like, did you hear that lady speaking in alien tongues in the back?
Yeah.
That was real weird too.
So the bar patron goes, you don't have to yell that much. That's what Ashley, that's the equivalent of saying calm down to Ashley. She's not going to like that. Mm-mm. And she says, listen, I only speak loudly because I feel like I wasn't listened to as a child.
It's childhood trauma. Okay.
Yeah, it's childhood trauma. That's what the cards told me. And the guy goes, why don't you lay down on that couch and I'll sit next to you and you can tell me your problems. Like he was kind of coming on to her, but kind of making a joke like I'll be the psychiatrist. I don't know. Yeah. And she goes, listen, I'm in a man-hating space right now, and you are enemy numero uno, so step away. And Manuel tells us, I know she's been hurt in past relationships, but I'm the one that's paying for it, and I've done nothing untrustworthy.
Okay.
I mean,
I don't think she's ever thought he cheated in any way.
Right. She's just been shady. Well, her mom did say maybe he has another wife somewhere. Yeah. Or another family.
Yeah. He could have another. I don't know if he could have another wife because he is now legally married to her. I don't know if people cross-reference other countries when people get married. But he is there on the K-1 visa, so he wouldn't have been approved for that if he was married to somebody else in Ecuador. But he could have a whole other side chick and family in Ecuador, for sure.
Yeah. And he has been untrustworthy in that he did not tell his family he was coming to America to get married.
It's none of their business.
And he didn't tell her how many relatives he had in Newark/New York.
None of her business.
But yeah, I don't think he's cheating on her. So Ashley begs someone to give her a cigarette. I need a cigarette. Who's going to give me a cigarette? This chill bar is like taken
Yeah.
over by her crazies. And so she goes outside with the ET chakra friend and this patron named Chauncey, who that killed me because Katie and I only refer to this Chauncey that was on this game, Luigi's Haunted Mansion. And Chauncey was a very evil baby ghost.
Okay.
So we refer to Chauncey as an evil person.
Okay.
So Ashley starts complaining to Chauncey and the friend the friend channels some Martians or whatever and is like, Manuel is gaslighting you. And then Ashley starts going, Manuel is gaslighting me. Like it's her own thought, and she's in her talking head, like, he's just gaslighting me. Like she came up with it. And the friend says, I feel like you really do have love, and relationships with love are worth fighting for sometimes. Not always. Here, the stars are aligned. I was like, these
They
people
just
are
talk. They talk in riddles.
They talk in riddles, and I feel like it's just like, I'm a witch. I channel aliens. Like, are you just trying to get back at your conservative parents or something? Or are you just trying to like be edgy? Like, there are real people who are Wiccans and stuff, and I bet they hate Ashley because she is doing it just to be different. And
Listen, I don't know about that, about Ashley. I don't necessarily agree with that. I feel like it's her calling, also to be a Peloton instructor. Those are her two callings. But the lady that speaks in tongues to aliens, that's where I draw the line.
Yeah, that's
That,
true.
I mean, that was too much.
Yeah.
Too much.
Too much. So Manuel tells Ashley, I need your trust. And she's like, I need you to hear me, and I need you to admit when you're at fault. He never thinks he did anything wrong. It's like, I don't think he did this time. You started this fight in the bar.
And he doesn't understand what the alien lady even said, because not only does he not speak English, he doesn't speak light
Tongues.
language or whatever the fuck she was talking about.
The language of light and love.
Yeah.
So the next day, she's working out in the hotel gym, and she's telling the producer and the cameraman how mad she is with Manuel while she's wearing a shirt that says "Be happy," ironically. And Manuel apparently left that morning. She didn't know where he went, and he didn't text her. So she called him, and it turns out he went to breakfast with Jonathan. Oy, Dios mío. It was like he burned up her tarot cards. He farted on her sage. She is furious.
But listen, I say, just leave a text. When you wake up, I'll be gone because I'm going to have breakfast with Jonathan. That's all he needed to do. But her reaction is, in my opinion, oh my God, the balloons. I'm sorry. I don't know why that happened. Her reaction is too much. It's over the top. But I do think that he should have sent her a text, like, just because she's like, oh, he's gone, you know? Yeah.
So she's like, but the thing is, she called him. So I thought he wasn't returning her texts. But when I watched it again, she was just waiting for him to text her. It was like a test, and he failed. She called him. He wasn't avoiding her call. He answered the phone and said, I'm at breakfast with Jonathan. So she's like setting him up for failure. But yes, it's so easy to text your wife. Should she have made this much big of a deal? Absolutely not. And so she's like screaming, just communicate with your mother effing wife in the hotel gym as this poor guy is there trying to get his workout in. And they keep blurring out his face because there's a camera crew in there.
He's upset.
He's upset. This is his me time. And so Ashley's like, I'm not going to be in an unhealthy relationship. Which, please, you only know unhealthy relationships because you are one of the main contributors of that. Mm-hmm. So she's built for unhealthy relationships. Yeah. So after she's gotten her Starbucks, which I thought would calm her down, but it did not calm her down.
Yeah. Usually coffee does it for her.
No, she goes back to the room. She does not shower. So I hope she didn't get super sweaty. And she sits down and she's giving him the silent treatment. And he says, listen, Jonathan asked me to go to breakfast, but Ashley was too tired. So I let her rest. I'm the good guy. I was being a good husband.
Yeah.
I just let her rest. So, but that's implying you asked her to breakfast and she said, no, I'm too tired. Or like you thought you were going to ask her, which is totally different from what he says in about 5 minutes. So I don't know which one's true. They both suck, basically. So
he woke up, he saw a text on his phone from Jonathan saying, "Hey, if you're up early, you want to get breakfast," and he literally like ding 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 ding
yeah,
like a little mouse in a cartoon. He snuck right out of there because he did not want her to go, and he did not want her to even wake up for 1 second to be like, "Where are you going?"
but let's be real. Wouldn't you try to get away from Ashley too? The woman screaming in the bar the night before and
I
who
think I
always causes a scene? I
I
would
think
try
it's
to get away
fine
too.
for him to want to go to breakfast with his buddy by himself. They're not tied at the hip.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so she starts yelling at him for not texting and she's being, in my opinion, irrational. And he says, if I told you I was going out with Jonathan, you would have said, I want to come too. And then I need my space. I need to get away from you. And then I was like, okay, so did you let her sleep to be nice, or did you try to avoid her?
It was both, but he knew how he was going to spin it when he snuck out of that. He took a solid 2 minutes to close the door. So it
Yeah.
didn't make any sound at all. Yeah.
Yeah. So he says, well, what a vacation. You see why I wanted my space? And I was like, mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And then he wants to leave the room and go away. And he wants his credit card that she has. And she's like, leave me alone. I'm not talking to you. And he's like, I just want my credit card. Leave me alone. I can't go out without money. It's New York City. Leave me alone. I'm not talking to you. And it's like, just hand him his mother effing credit card. You don't need to say a single word.
Did
Just
she have it
hand him
on
his
her
card.
person? Like, why couldn't he find it?
I don't know. Was it on her like credit card wallet thing? I don't like I have. I'm holding it up. No one can see
Yeah.
it. So like that's one thing that drove me crazy. She's like, I woke up, I didn't know where he was. He's in this city he's not familiar with. Like she's acting like Nicole and Mahmoud. Like she doesn't care. She's sending him out without a credit card now. Like,
How did he pay for breakfast?
I don't know. Maybe Jonathan paid.
Jonathan paid for it. Yeah.
So then she says to the camera without any self-awareness whatsoever, he creates problems and then blames them on me. He's trying to sabotage this relationship. Which heal thyself. Can someone give her $4,000 to take her own seminar?
Yeah, I think that the other way to approach this would be like, hey, when I woke up and you were gone and hadn't sent me a text story, that worried me. So
she has never approached him with that tone of voice. And that
So
would
next
have made all
time-
the difference.
next time, please text me if you're going to leave and not tell me, because I woke up, I didn't know where you were. I didn't know what happened. So
I was
very
worried.
upset. I was worried. I was upset.
Yeah.
And then for him to come back with, I didn't tell you because I didn't want you to come. That's not the right reply either.
No, but would you want to be around this woman? I'm sorry. I used to be hated both of them, and
Yeah.
now I'm hating her more because I can't take it anymore. And when he says, I think she's being dramatic, agree.
He's
I
correct.
think she thinks the whole world revolves around her, agree. So like he's speaking truths and she's saying things that actually apply to her.
Well, they're going to bang it out in the hotel bathroom, so it's going to be fine.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. We will move on to Loren and Alexei. So Loren gets her kids on the couch. She's taking a picture of them before she leaves. It's Shy, Asher, and Ari, which stands for Ariel. And she says she's trying to keep herself busy before she leaves to go, for her surgery that she's having. So she'll be gone for a few days recovering at a hotel. And now she's getting a little nervous, right? So she goes in the bathroom to help the middle one, like go to the potty and stuff. And he says, like, I don't want you to be gone for very long. And she was, it's very sweet. She's like, I won't, I'll be back. And she says, listen, she's doing this. She's happy that she's doing it. She's excited to be doing it. She is doing it for herself because she wants to look her best, which will make her feel her best. And that way she can be the best version of herself, for her children, for her husband. So she cries, though, because Alexei's taking them to, I guess, the grandparents' house, I guess her parents' house. That's where he's taking them. I thought his dad was going to be there to help, but
Maybe he's staying somewhere else and that's where he was taking him.
it could be the dad is like staying with the grandparents and all three of them are helping. I don't know.
I don't know. That mom is speaking of witches.
Yeah. Mom is not so great. So
keep his sweet dad away from. Her
Yeah.
mom.
So he comes back. Alexei walks back in and she's folding laundry. She's like, I'm finishing up folding the laundry. And then she's kind of giving him a hard time because he can't find the towels and stuff in the bathroom. And then he's like, how are you doing? And she's like, oh gosh, I just found myself really upset and worried. And, she's like crying and everything. And she tells him this and he's like, ha, 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 blowing his nose. And they do like a talking head. She goes like, I'm sitting here telling him all my feelings and he's there cleaning out his nose. I really hate that term. Cleaning out his nose. Ugh.
Yeah. Also, I felt for Katie because that's what she has to deal with when we record the podcast a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes she'll just go, do you have to blow your nose? Because I'll be sniffing a lot. And she like really politely is like, do you have to blow your nose? Do you need us to pause so you can blow your nose?
I tell Keisha right before we start, I go, don't forget about your mute button. So she's very excited, even though, she was sad before. Now she's excited. She feels positive about it. And she has her third eye bag and ready to go. So she has a Louis Vuitton Speedy.
She was selling that stuff too. I think she leaned all in on the evil third eye or whatever.
Oh, well, she has a painted Louis Vuitton bag with the third eye on it.
Yeah. And I think she has the tattoo. She has, yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So they get to the surgery center and the doctor is talking about the recovery and says the recovery is as important as the surgery. If she does one thing she's not supposed to, she could pop a whole line of stitches that would set her back, send her more surgery. So we see the doctor, he's drawing all over her body for the surgery. And, Alexei's like, don't take anything out of her ass. Like, I like her to have, fat in her ass and everything. And Alexei says it is hard to watch this and watch her get ready for this because she's beautiful already, and I worry she won't look the same. I worry that it won't look the way she wants it. And then she'll want another one and another one and another one. And that's not the Loren I fell in love with. And I don't want that.
Yeah. He's seen Darcy and Stacy's show.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
it's a slippery slope.
Please don't let this be our future.
Yeah. So they give her some drugs in her IV that are going to relax her right away. And she's like, whoa, that worked. Woo! And then she cries some more and hugs Alexei before she walks into the operating room. And then we get way more than we needed to see here and in the previews for next week. They show sticking the tube down the throat. They show the slicing. No, TLC. We did not sign in for Surgery Gone Wrong or whatever show that you have about surgery. We didn't sign up for that. Botched. Take My Tumor. All.
Yeah,
we didn't sign up.
I love those shows. Dr. Pimple Popper. Yeah.
No, I can't. Oh, Kimberly. Sometimes I feel like mad if I'm scrolling on Instagram and a TLC ad for one of those shows pops up, like my feet are killing me, and it's like a deformed toe. I'm like, this should have one of those warnings over it, like may contain sensitive information.
I actually do agree. It doesn't bother me. The feet stuff actually bother me more, but the Dr. Pimple Popper, I love that show. But I think there should be a warning. You should have
chills.
To click. Yeah.
I have chills on my whole body right now.
I feel protective of the other people that are bothered. And I think it should have a warning, TLC. But they're showing us Gino and Jasmine without a warning. So they think everything's fair game.
They're blurring her ass for no reason.
Yeah.
We've seen it, okay?
We've seen her personality. That should have had a warning.
Seen her whole butthole on Instagram.
Angela.
Yeah, it's true. At some point, we'll see her on the show. Not sure when. Let's move on to Nicole and Mahmoud.
Oh, my God.
Okay.
I can't. Okay. So we're on we're on episode 3 of this fight. I think this night is the night that never ends.
It's day 2 of him being there. Yeah.
Day 2 of him being there. And it's this one night with her friends that just is never going to end. So she's like has changed into a beret and a black beret, a white sweater and a leather jacket, like a weird mime, French mime.
Yes.
I did go on Reddit and someone had posted like, what does she look like? And they had some good responses. Like the sister on Doug.
Yes.
Judy,
cartoon,
and Patty Hearst.
Oh my God.
Liberation Army.
Oh,
it was pretty good. Yeah.
Mhm.
So she's nervous because he's gone into the night. She keeps saying gone into the night like he's Batman. He's gone into the night. And she's like, it's a crime-ridden city. Well, maybe if he's Batman, he can take care of it. Um, do any of your listeners, do they know what part of LA she lives in? I feel like they're either blurring street signs or my vision is just that bad because I was like, what street sign is that? Can't see it. Are they blurring it out? Where does she live in LA? I need to know. I'm the blind wife.
I don't know, but I mean, her apartment, the living space is really big. So I don't know. Would she live I mean, I don't know because it seems to be a pretty big apartment. And she seems to be jobless. So I don't know.
Unsure. Downtown. So all I did see some weird windshield marks on her windshield. Remember Sam from last season?
Yeah.
And I couldn't get past the weird scratches.
Looked
Well,
like a
she
dog was
has,
trying to claw its way out of the car like Cujo. Yeah.
yeah. So she has like all of these weird marks that like someone has drawn on her windshield, like the dust. And it's a lot of lines and circles. And I was like, are those hieroglyphics? What is that? And then I go, is it Egyptian? Like, did someone, I really couldn't figure it out if anybody, why do I notice these things? So
Maybe
she,
it said wash me
why?
and then she windshield wipered over it. So
That's
only a few of
possible.
the lines were showing. Yeah.
Yeah. So she finds him in about 30 seconds because he's walked a block. He has a camera crew with him. Not hard to spot.
Right.
So, and she's screaming, Mahmoud, get in the car.
This was aggressive.
And he ignores her and she says, that was all doodle. Did you catch that? That was all doodle.
Don't besmirch my dog, a doodle.
Rude. I don't know what that means. That must be an expression that I've never heard. She was maybe trying not to cuss. I don't understand.
Maybe she was trying not to cuss. Maybe she's trying to watch her sick potty mouth.
Yeah. She's drinking and has those naked mannequins around.
She was drunk earlier and now she's driving around. What the fuck?
So they did this weird camera cut where the camera's in the car with her and then the camera fades to black and then we come up and it's on his perspective on the street. It was very Blair Witch Project, like found footage horror movie, which it kind of is. Because it's their horror show. So she starts dragging him physically back to the car, like grabbing his arm, screaming, put your suitcase in the car. And he eventually gets back in and he thinks this has shown that she still cares.
It was wild. First of all, she's physically putting her hands on him and pushing him to the car. And I thought, don't do that. And she is being so hateful in her tone.
Yeah. But he's like, oh, maybe she does still care. She came looking for me.
She told me to leave, but then came to look for me. So now maybe we're back together. What?
He's just very confused. He's like, I still have love for her, but I feel like we're going to maybe kill each other. So like, I don't know what to do. And she says, why do you always have to run away? And he's like, you told me to leave multiple times.
Right.
And now you're mad that I left.
Right.
And she's like, I didn't when you first got here for the first few hours. Remember, I was really nice. So the camera is filming them outside the car, but you can hear them and you can see him crying. And then this is how their relationship's so strange. She's like, oh, are you okay? And she's trying to like comfort him. And he's like, I need some time. And she goes, can I stand outside the car? So she stands outside the car watching him cry and on the inside of the car. And she says, I'm so happy to see him crying. I think that means he's being real with his emotions for the first time since he's gotten here. It makes me think I can get through to him. So the fact that he is broken down is a really good sign because you have to break something down before you can build it back up.
Wow.
So they go back to the apartment. She's making him tea. And right when I was thinking, does he ever eat food ever? I don't think I've ever seen him eat food. She gives him a bowl of raspberries.
That was nice.
Yeah, really.
That was nice. Yeah.
So they start arguing immediately. Her friends came over. That surprised him, and then she served them alcohol. And she's like, "You can't stop me from being American." I don't know why I'm doing Angela. I'm an American, but that's her vibe. It's just she does it with like a slightly sweeter voice, and he thinks very wisely she's pulling a power trip. Like, you're in my country now. I have the control for the first time because we're on my turf, and I am going to exert my power. And I kind of feel like that's what's happening too. And
yeah, I do too. I think it's like, you're here, get used to it. This is what we do in our country. And he's like, but like, it's 2 days. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
And like how when she got annoyed that he was going off on his own, and she's like, "Why are you acting like you live here and like you know how to get around the city?" Like she wanted him to need her. Like it's very strange. So it's very sad. She's very damaged, but I think she was like that before him. I don't know. So he says, "I'll stay for a few days before I decide what I'm going to do." And she says, "Listen, you have a place to stay here. You can stay here with me. I'm so generous. You can stay in this place, in this city that I brought you here. I'm not going to
we're married.
I'm not going to kick you out on the street."
Right.
Yeah, like, so great. And then she goes, "But I'm not going to share a bed with you and have quiet, dry, quick sex with you. So you can sleep in the living room on this blow up air mattress next to the naked mannequins."
And the alcohol in the fridge.
Enjoy. Spoon those mannequins if you get lonely.
Poor Mahmoud. Oh my God.
This is a disaster.
Poor guy. Poor guy.
Yeah, I'm now way more on his side. I used to, again, hate both of them. But now.
Right. Yeah, this episode and the last couple episodes with her and her drunk friend, Julian, that was chasing him down the street. Like, I was like, oh my God, don't get drunk and then come home and have your friend like get in his space. And
who was also trying to physically stop him from leaving. Julian.
Yeah, that was awful.
Yeah, I don't like it.
All right, let's end with Sophie and Rob. So these two kids, these two just lovers in love, they head to a flea market. And he says, yep, she moved back in a few days ago, and I feel that things are getting better. And she goes, yeah, we don't have flea markets in England. We call it an outdoor mall with secondhand stuff. And he says, I'm sure they do. Maybe you've just never been to that part of London. She goes, that's probably true. So
I'm rich, remember?
I'm rich, remember? We don't know
they
how,
do
but
have
I
flea
am.
markets in England. I Googled it, and they're called flea markets.
I was about to say, maybe they're just called like swap meets or something. They're called flea markets.
It was like Heathrow flea market, Union Square flea market.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. She's also just 24 years old. So
that's true.
So they look at crystal necklaces, and the crystal man, henceforth shall be known. The crystal man says, the crystal will draw you. The crystal will pick you. And she goes, oh, I'm drawn to this amethyst. And he goes, well, that's the best one for clairvoyance. She goes, really? That's so interesting because when I have dreams, it'll happen the next day. And he says, that's your third eye working. What's this, a third eye episode?
Does she need a pound of eyelashes for her third eye? Because the first two, I don't know how she sees out of them. Remember Phaedra on the Traitors?
Yeah.
I was like, that's why she's being such a bad traitor now, because I don't think she can see. She can barely lift her lids. And so now they need to make eyelashes for third eyes, I guess.
That is genius.
Poor Danielle. She hasn't gotten the first two right on Seeking Sister Wives. Maybe the third one, she'll get it on perfect. It's just like, first one, not so good. It's like the Three Little Bears. And like the third one is just right.
The third eye eyelash is just perfect. Or you could use the product that I endorse, which is Hello Lash. And there's currently a sale going on for Mother's Day. Link in bio, link below.
Perfect.
Okay. Thank you. So then she goes, well, I've been clairvoyant in the past. Like with his online cheating, I had a premonition about that.
We all have had premonitions about Rob cheating.
I don't think that means clairvoyance. I think that means just your eyes are open to what's going on with this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, but maybe that's what I've always had. Like, and I just didn't know the word for it. He goes, you literally found out about that today, and now you think you're clairvoyant. And she goes, no, like I think that like I've had these visions, and I just didn't know how to put a word to it. He goes, paranoid is a word for it.
How did she not know that word? I don't think she knows some words.
I don't think she knows some words, and she's also super young.
Yeah.
So then they tell Crystal Guy that they bicker a lot. And she says, Rob doesn't listen to me and he doesn't understand me. And Crystal Guy goes, because also he's a therapist, he goes, you don't need to say don't do this and don't do that because then you're throwing a negative into the situation. And then Crystal Man says, you should write down your grievances and then hand them to each other. And she goes, oh, Rob already did that. But his list was really stupid and small things like saying I'm messy. And if I had to write it down, I would write down 50 serious things. And Rob goes, okay, I'm not going into all that. All right, just buy your crystal. Let's get out of here. And Crystal Man tells them, everyone has baggage. You should just drop it and leave it. And he's talking head. Crystal Man says, they have a communication problem and it's going to be a hard road to hoe, which I think the phrase is a hard row to hoe. Because you're like hoeing rows.
Oh, in a garden.
Yeah, that's
Row
what
of
I think it
crops or
means.
something. A row of
Yeah,
plants.
carrots, if you will.
Carrots.
Somebody tell me if I'm wrong. I thought that's what it meant. And Rob goes, yeah, just get the amethyst if it's going to help our relationship. Go ahead and get that. I think it's $4. I can afford it. And Crystal Man says, yeah, if I can help y'all any further, let me know. I'm a shaman. I can sage your house.
I thought he was going to hand them a business card and be like, for all your shaman needs, I also take care of witches that charge $4,000 for services when they're complete emotional disasters in their life. Do you have one of those?
He's like, my name is Jim Bob. I'm from Texas, and I'll hook you up. And then the talking head Rob goes, maybe we just need more crystals. Yeah. And she goes, yeah, he was so wise. Like what did you just do to make those balloons pop up?
I was just going like this. I was just playing with my finger.
She says he was like a wise old owl, but we do need other options for communication. So then we're at home and she's cleaning up the kitchen and she goes, it's not that I hate cleaning. I just don't like to be told to clean. So she FaceTimes with her mom. Now her mom has got some sort of shiny filter going on, but she looks great. Claire. Her mom has gone back to Mexico, since she had conveniently a boyfriend also in Austin, Texas.
Oh, yeah.
And I forgot about that. And
nice.
She said she hasn't told her mother that she's moved back in with Rob. But she didn't tell her because she doesn't want outside influences. It's her marriage. She has to make her own decisions. And her mother never has anything nice to say about Rob. So she tells her mom, well, I have something to tell you. I did move in with Rob about 2 weeks ago, but it's nothing to talk about because he is my husband. So it wasn't like I was moving back in with him. He is my husband. This is our home. We're going to go to couples therapy. Like, I'm very happy about that. He's agreed, and we're going to go tomorrow. We're both willing to work and look at this and try to get the happiness out of it. And mom says, what you need is total and complete honesty and trust, Sophie. Anything weird been going on you want to tell me? The production team told me to ask you if anything weird's been going on. Anything weird that may have happened when you were filming yesterday. So she says the other day. Now, she says the other day, but she said it's been 2 weeks. This was the day she moved in. They were filming the day after when he was bringing her that salmon and crackers in the bed and that cheese.
And the cheese. Yeah. The cheese with the ring in it. Yeah.
Yeah. So she says, the other day I heard a vibration like a phone, but we couldn't find the phone. And it wasn't either one of our phones. It was so weird.
Maybe that's what I've been hearing this whole time. It's Rob's hoe phone that I've been hearing.
I hope you have not been hearing it the whole time.
No, I haven't.
Okay. So she tells the story. And then we see what happened. They were sitting filming that scene on the bed. And you hear like a phone vibrating. And they're both pick up their phones. He says, my phone's on airplane mode. So no Bluetooth. It's on airplane mode. She goes, it's not my phone. My phone's totally off. And production is going, does anybody have their phone on? Has anybody got their phone on? Now, I think that they added that sound in later, like the to make it sound louder.
It was
Because
very loud.
it was very loud. But they were like, it's definitely, because it was so loud, they're like, it's in the bed. Right? So leads me to believe it was under the mattress.
Mm.
And she was like, no, like, what is that? It's so weird. It's so weird. And then we hear whatever phone it is connects to their Bluetooth speaker. And you can hear it going, hello, this is Rob. Leave a message at the tone.
Now, I didn't hear Rob, but I just heard the man's voice, and it did sound like Rob, but I didn't hear his name.
She said it was his voicemail.
But if you miss a call, you don't hear your own voicemail.
Here's the only explanation I can come up with.
Okay. Yeah. Tell me if it's the same as mine. Okay.
My explanation is it's his phone. It's on Bluetooth. And when he hit send a voicemail, he also hit the Bluetooth. So it connected to like a speaker and picked up what is like normally it would pick up what your phone's playing for music. He hit Bluetooth and he hit send a voicemail. And it went to the Bluetooth speaker, unless there's a phone in the house going to voicemail that's already connected to Bluetooth that he forgot to turn off.
But
did he have porn on a Bluetooth speaker and forgot to put it off Bluetooth and then threw it into the
But you know what I'm saying closet? About hearing a voicemail? Like if I hit like the other phone, the phone that is calling my hoe phone is the one that would hear my voicemail message. I never hear my voicemail message because I'm not calling myself. Right. So unless his good boy phone is calling his hoe phone or production is calling his hoe phone as a trap and their phone somehow connected, whoever's calling his hoe phone would hear his voicemail.
You're right.
So is this whole thing fake? Or it was his phone, which I thought was on airplane mode, accidentally calling his hoe phone, and then his phone, we're hearing it through his phone, the voicemail. It was very strange. I didn't understand.
I didn't either, but your theory is good that it was a producer. The producer connected to the Bluetooth in the house and then called his hoe phone.
Or was it actually a crew member's phone? They lied. They said it wasn't their phone because they didn't want to get in trouble, but it was them, and they had butt dialed Rob's normal phone, and that was his normal voicemail message.
But he picked up his phone, and you could hear the ee, and he picked up his phone. He goes, "It's not my phone." His phone wasn't buzzing.
No, so I'm saying it was a crew. Oh yeah, you're right.
It wasn't his actual phone. It was a different phone. It was
his whole phone. So a crew member has his hoe phone, and for a plot line, they have called it, and then it went off. And then, so we're hearing the hoe phone buzzing, and on his hoe phone, he has the most boring ass voicemail because, of course, Rob would have a boring, non-sexy hoe phone voicemail message. Like, "Hi, this is Rob. Call me back and I'll leave it." You know, it's like so boring. It's not like, "Hey, baby, call me back." And so we're hearing it through the crew member's phone because they're the one who's calling.
What if he is having an affair with a crew member?
There we go.
And that girl accidentally butt dialed his hoe phone.
I love that theory. Does she have an athletic build?
Because take it to the Reddit and find out, Kimberly.
We just heard he loves a bodybuilder.
Wow. So mom is saying to Sophie, "It's a hoe phone. It's a hoe phone." She goes, "This is another phone that was going to Bluetooth because his phone was on airplane mode." It's interesting, right? Because in this office, I have an Apple, whatever they call it. It's like a home. It's called the Home. It's like a home speaker. It's a little round speaker. I have no idea why I have it. I've never even used it. I bought it like I felt like I needed it. I've never used it. But when I walk into this room, if I'm talking into my phone, like what I do a lot is I'll say, "Hey, SIRI, text Dave," and then I'll say, "I'm recording for the next hour. My phone is on silent. I'll send that to the family.
Uh-huh.
But if I walk in this room while I'm doing that, the HomePod picks it up and will say, you'll need to unlock your phone to do that. Like it hears me doing it and thinks I'm talking to it, but I'm talking to my phone.
Yeah.
So the HomePod heard he was watching some phone porn and he had it on Bluetooth so he could really get the effect of it.
Yeah. He likes
Okay.
surround sound.
He likes surround sound with
Yeah.
his internet porn. Yeah. All right. So she says, well, I'm going to look around. Where would he hide it where I wouldn't look? Behind the tarantulas. So she accidentally knocks a tarantula lid off. And she's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I knocked the tarantula
What if
lid
they got
off.
loose? That would just like in Home Alone.
I was hoping that, I wasn't hoping, but it would be funny if she knocked the lid off and he's like, I'm free. And he jumps up on her hand.
Save me. Tarantulas are not supposed to be kept in these tiny little containers.
God. And then she's looking around and mom says, if I was there, I'd find that phone in 15 minutes flat. And I was like, same girl, same.
Yeah.
I would too. I would too.
I am way too invested in this search for the hoe phone. Like, I love a good mystery. You know who could find that hoe phone in a second? Flea market shaman.
He would just come in and feel the energy of the hoe
He'd
phone
just
and know
close his
exactly where it
eyes
was.
and
Yeah.
be like, I know where it is.
I mean, what if it literally is like under the mattress or something? Because they heard it in the bedroom.
Yeah.
Or that crew member was standing in the bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
So she goes, I don't know. I mean, what will I do if I find it? And she's like, it's just a matter of when, not if you find it.
Okay, I'm starting to think Claire planted the hoe phone to officially break up this marriage.
Not a bad call. All right, next time on 90 Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After, we see Emily and Kobe, and Emily opens some kind of package. It's got like a chicken foot in it, and mom's like,
It's a repeat of the Family Chantel.
Yeah, really. Everybody's against the chicken feet. So Emily's mom says to Kobe, I really don't like this idea of the bride price. I really don't like it. And I feel like I'm selling my daughter. So is there a way that we could do that? Like, what would happen? And he goes, there would not be a wedding.
Yeah, you're just going to have to go with it on this.
Ceremoniously do it. You don't have
their
to.
Culture.
Yeah, totally. So, I mean, $1. I mean, who cares? So yeah. Sophie says to Rob in therapy, the women you look at online don't look like me. They're mostly muscular, athletic types. And he goes, typical. She had to bring up the online cheating. Typical.
That's why you're there.
That's why you're in therapy, Rob. You're not going to be able to avoid it. And he goes, yeah, it's like because of that, like her feelings are valid and mine are not valid. And he says to the therapist, it's not like I'm this porn addicted bodybuilder fucker fetish guy. Well,
I think you might be.
I think maybe you are.
And that's okay. You just need help and not drag Sophie into it.
That's right. Just get yourself some help. It's all right. Loren's surgery continues. We see more disgusting slicing and dicing and sucking of fat going on. Alexei worries she's going to come out botched. And we could tell you in real time, she looks great. She's not botched.
Yeah. She looked great before. I would kill for her body. Beauty is so subjective.
It is because
kill for her arms.
Me too.
If my arms were as skinny as she, I mean, I would wear tank tops every day.
If I had that belly, I would also be nude all the time.
Yeah.
But listen, again,
beauty is subjective. She has body dysmorphia. It's a whole thing.
She's doing it for herself. It doesn't have anything to do with us. She can do what she wants. So, Ashley and Manuel are sitting with a friend, and she says, I woke up crying this morning because you were gone. Like my feelings were hurt. And Manuel says, if you want to be understood, you have to understand others. Fair point.
Very wise, shaman Manuel.
Uh-huh. And he says, I called you here to try to get a solution, but now you've made a big problem for nothing. And he stands up to walk away. And in the talking head, she says, he's pushing me away. And I'm beginning to wonder if he just wants to be free of me.
We all do.
No, I think he doesn't want to be free of her. I think he just wants to be able to just hang out with a friend without her being there. And she's so paranoid, he's planning something, Yeah.
And she just causes fights like every day. It's exhausting.
Yeah.
I think it was fun for him at first because they would always bang it out.
Right.
And it's not fun anymore.
You're right. You're totally right. John has arrived in Brazil, and Patrick's going out to meet him. And Thais says, "Oh God, if he's coming, let me get out of here." And then Thais says, in their talking head, she says, "I'm upset because Patrick is spending my birthday with John and not with me," which that's not cool. That's not cool.
Yeah. I mean, he did bring her the flowers and the cake, but yeah,
I mean, John
that's,
has flown all the way over there. Why does it have to be one or the other? Why can't he see John for a drink and then go to dinner? Or what? He's going to spend the night with her, so
yeah, yeah.
he could do both. Um, Ed and Liz meet
Just
up, and
hates
she's
John anyway. She doesn't want John there. So
no,
that's
she's like,
more what this is about. She just hates John.
well, like she said, I can't get rid of this guy. Um, Ed and Liz meet up. Liz is crying, and she says, "I want to be with you. I don't want to give up. I love you. I don't want to love anybody else." And she's bawling, crying.
Him?
Him. And he ekes out one little tear out of his stupid little eyeball and says, "I'm sorry."
He's loving this.
Of
That
course he
he's
is.
the dumper
Yeah, how
and not
rare.
the dumpy. He's
Mm-hmm.
loving this. Well, he
Mm-hmm.
cheated on his first wife. Let's not forget.
Yeah, he has so many problems. We're never gonna. Who cares?
Uh-uh.
Um,
He's like needs a team to study him.
yeah, I agree. Jasmine tells Gino. So, and Leandro is standing right there, which is odd. But Jasmine tells Gino she's not on the same page as him about having a baby, and he goes, "Mom, I'm going to bed. Good night." So that's it. I guess she's gearing up for the beauty pageant contest the next day by making him mad. I don't know. She
I
needs that
mean,
money.
they have from the beginning, he said he wanted kids.
Yeah.
And I guess, I don't know if she ever did. And she just wanted to get her kids to America.
Yeah.
Or if she did and she changed her mind.
Yeah. I don't know. But
What did I say from the very beginning of the season though? There's no way she put that much effort into her body and wanted to have kids again.
I agree. She's standing around in gold lame underwear.
Yeah.
At their home.
No, she was never planning on having another child.
No, I'm not going to blame her. Okay, what's going on this week on A Date with Dateline? And guys, make sure to catch Kimberly over there on the Libra Lounge with Keisha as well. But what's going on with A Date with Dateline?
We're doing the latest episode called If These Walls Could Talk. Hey, do you remember, because Katie didn't, the TV movie If These Walls Could Talk?
Yes, I do.
I was shocked she didn't remember it. I feel like it was like one of those moments in television history. It was like one of the first like TV movies that like won awards and had big stars in it and was like, well, maybe not the first. They had.
Can you remind me what it was about? Because I definitely remember that title.
I think the first like one was about abortion and the second one was about lesbians. It was just like.
It definitely was about like Roe v. Wade and
yeah, and it was women. It was like, and it had like big stars in it. That
it was on HBO, I think.
It had big like movie stars that were doing television.
Yes,
so I feel like it was like a big deal at the time, and then I think it won Emmys or something.
You're completely right, but I believe it was on HBO.
Yes,
and that was sort of. Because it's interesting, right? So we had regular TV, and that would be the Emmys, and then they added in HBO and maybe like Showtime or Cinemax, and not those things were never really nominated. But then some things would get thrown in there, and it was sort of like it's not really fair to regular TV because HBO and stuff could get away with so much more.
Yes,
and they started winning all the dramas and stuff. And then remember, for years, streaming services were not allowed, and now they are. Pretty soon,
you're so right.
Pretty soon it'll only be streaming services up for things, except for Abbott Elementary will continue to win all the comedy ones.
As it should.
As it should. It's a great show, everybody. Okay, well, thank you for telling me that. I wrote that down so I can download that for my flight to Mississippi, which I will be taking on Tuesday night.
Speaking of Robert Durst, Michael Peterson, another infamous gentleman, this episode features a death on a staircase, which was... So we made lots of owl theory jokes. We had a lot of fun with it.
It's not the owl.
It could be the owl. And we're going to read a book that is about the owl theory for our next Patreon book club. And maybe you'll join us. And maybe it'll change your mind.
I doubt it. I think that's the stupidest shit I've ever heard in my life.
Says someone who hasn't really done the research.
If you don't think I know every detail about that case, I even watched it on whoever did the miniseries when I had to watch Colin Firth do it from behind with whoever played his wife. Who was it that played his wife? It was Colin Firth that
Tony
played Michael.
Collette?
Yes, I had to watch Colin Firth doggy style it to Tony Collette. That's how much I know about this.
I
But I
think
couldn't
you
remember her
got
name.
to watch. I don't think you had to. I think we all got to.
Nice. Okay. All right. Let me log out of this and tell Ingrid about the editing job she's going to have to do.
So sorry.
But
I
that's okay.
was hearing it more towards the end.
Jeez. All right. I think these headphones I hate, and I think I'm just going to throw them in the trash.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah, I think I will, and I'll just go back to my
Unless it's my headphones.
I'm going to
I'm
die.
so sorry.
I'm going to die if it is. No,
but
I
it
think
really corresponded to you moving, and you talking. So that makes me think it's not just me in my head.
I'm going to make sure that currently my settings are still correct. It didn't change while we were talking, but they are currently still correct.
Okay.
Okay. All right, everybody. Make sure you follow A Date with Dateline over on Instagram at Dateline. But you know who really needs Instagram followers? It's me. So please follow me at Pink Shade Pod. I'm hoping my episode on Thursday with Kathy Griffin will bump up my exposure and I'll make it over to that $10,000, not $10,000, holy shit, 10,000 listener, 10,000 follower line. So everybody listen on Thursday to my interview with Kathy Griffin. You don't want to miss it. It's amazing.
I'm so excited.
It's so great.
I'm giddy.
It's exciting. And then you can watch the video over on YouTube. So that'll be on Thursday. That'll be in your free feed on Thursday. Okay, everybody. Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.
Ads not read by me, Mary Payne, don't necessarily reflect the views of Pink Shade. If you'd like to listen to ad-free, you're going to go on over to Supercast or Patreon, and you can find the links to Pink Shade Prime at pinkshadepodcast.com.